actually around here somewhere, Mike Bender. You know, you were plugging your guys and whatnot. He's top 5 instructors, Golf Digest. I think he's top 1, but I'm a little biased. So he's around here too, moseying around. But got a big team. Him being one of them. I got trainers. I've got a chiropractor. I've got all these guys that help me do what I do. Even though it's an individual game, there is a team. It sounds like you guys are taking part of that too, which is great. That's what golf's about. I mean, you got to get the right clubs in your hands. Certainly, before that, I think you got to have the right assessment. You got to have the right physical makeup for that golf club, and you certainly got to be, you know, in decent shape. But that, you know, it's still a game. It's still a great exercise. It's still all of that, and you have fun. That's all that matters. But as Matt alluded to, this is my first year with PXG. It's gonna be my first of many, and we're just starting. This is the way I see it. I'm learning, but the beauty of it is that one, there's a lot of aspects of my game that have already improved in this 7 to 8 month period, and in every aspect I'm learning about my game. And I say that because, as he said, Matt said, I was the Titleist for so long, and really what I would do, I would just kind of go with the next generation of iron, next generation of driver, and all of which are, that's good golf balls. We're not going to deny that. I mean, they make a great golf ball. That's the golf ball I still play. But I just kind of fit into their whatever branch of iron or driver they had. It took me a while to get into some things, but I was pretty stubborn. Would be probably the most operative word when it comes to switching. And I'm not talking switching with PXG, I'm talking switching in general. I played the same putter for 15 years. I played the 2007 X ball for about 7 years, even though they weren't really distributing it, I was still playing it. Point is, I was a little naive and a little stubborn in trying to get into new and better equipment. Matt went on board with PXG, and I kind of had a quasi-relationship with Mr. Bob Parsons way back when, so it was really intriguing to me to see, you know, what is out there. I've never really done the testing, and then once we got into it, it was a very brief, I mean, there was a process, but it was brief in the sense that, like, yeah, there's better stuff than what I'm playing. There's stuff that there's equipment out there that can make me a better player. And the beauty of what they do is one is their passion. It's second to none how they go about trying to make the best equipment, period. 2 is certainly the relationship side of things, especially for me, I mean, internally, but more than that, they want to get you the right set of irons, the right woods, the right putter, what have you. And then 3 is again, going back to the very beginning. I'm all about relationships. It's all about the people. They're passionate about it. They want you to be happy with your game of golf and see you play better golf. So I guess you say 4th is that whatever I play, you can play too. That's pretty cool. You know, we started with their first generation of iron, right? The 0311, and Matt's recommendation, because he's been on tour actually quite frankly longer than I have, which is a long time, was like we need to make something a little bit smaller for a lot of these guys. And so now I play the 0311T, and it's, you know, slightly smaller, but still the same technology, which is beautiful. And you can play those too. The wedges is kind of what we're about, you know, talking about today, this evening. You know, again, I was pretty stubborn. I played the same Titleist Vokey wedges since 2002. Well, 2001 and 2002. Certainly the groove, you know, there's been groove rules, but the grooves have changed throughout the time, so I'd upgrade grooves, but the same makeup, the same grind, the same lies, the same lofts, the same. And this was my hesitancy. If I had any hiccups, was like, we got to get the wedges down. Met with these guys, are like, okay, we really want to make your wedges perfect. That was the first thing that came out of their mind. And it was one of those things where, like I said, I was kind of hesitant. My caddy was very hesitant, and then when we got into it, the beauty is they made my wedge game better. And I'm not just saying that because I'm supposed to say it. I mean it sincerely. It's shown up in my stats. It's shown up day to day, consistency around the greens. And you know, if my wedge game can get better, then certainly, you know, anybody's wedge game can get better as far as I'm concerned. Because that's what I pride myself on. That's what I practice probably the most outside of my putter. And you know, I enjoy wedges. So a beautiful company, a new company, but yet a lot of years in the making, I guess, with who's behind it. You know, we've got a lot of great R&D, engineer type guys back there that just really get it. So it's an honor to be a part of it. So what do we do now? The wedges? Okay.
Yeah, do you guys have any questions for Zach?
All right, thanks.
All right, see you later. Take care. Hey guys, from our standpoint, when it came to PHC, the one thing that when we were talking about bringing Zach on board, internally we kept saying, we can't screw his wedge game up. We can't screw his wedge game up. So the wedges were really important to us. They're a forged wedge with a very, very aggressive groove within the rules of golf. And like Zach said, you know, that was the one thing that we kept working on, and he's got some customized wedges. And once again, when you get fit for wedges, and the guys here will tell you, it's about shaft, it's about balance, it's about loft and line. Go ahead.
Quick question. So, So, the rule about changed where you can't use the sideways wedges or the square room.
Oh, square rooms, yeah.
Right. So there was a couple years ago that was done. If they were still legal, are they better than wedges that are available now?
First of all, you can play square rooms.
Yeah. Well, technically, you can.
I bought 4 sets of them right before they went out. So I have lots of them.
Well, yeah. When they, well, I want to hit that more. When you talk about square groove, it's all about the rule now is if you're going to have the width of your groove will then will allow you to do certain things to the edge and the depth. I'll let him talk about it more. But basically, the groove rule was, it's been about 3 years now? Almost 5 years. Okay, so it's been 5 years. In the testing that I've done, the only benefit of the old grooves, which were a little more aggressive on the edges, if you will, is out of rough. Out of the fairway, there's zero difference. Around the greens, you know, maybe some subtle differences, but I'm not even sure I don't think you can really notice the difference. But if you're hitting like anywhere from like a 60-yard to 120-yard shot out of the rough or intermediate rough, you might see a little bit of difference, a bit more grab with the old grooves, but it's minimal. I mean, they've done a lot of testing. I've done a lot of testing. Elaborate.
It's a good question. All the different companies spent millions of dollars changing our grooves, and the PGA scoring went down a half stroke. So you tell me what that did. And to be fair, I think most of the players that I've worked with just said, with the groove change, it just got more consistent. You know, the club came out more consistent. So.
Not only that, I mean, you know, these golf balls, they have such a soft cover, more or less, where you can spin the ball. I mean, everybody's like, oh, man, did you see that backspin there? Well, if anything, I'm trying to take spin. What are you talking about it today? You know, I want it coming out the right window, like the right barrel, you know, coming out the right barrel, with the proper trajectory, the proper distance, obviously, and proper spin. I don't need that thing to come back every time. That's not what I'm necessarily shooting for. I mean, truthfully, it's harder to predict. And more times, it's cool. No, it looks great. No, I mean, it looks awesome. I mean, I'm not going to deny it. So does a 330-yard carry, which I don't have yet. But the point is that, you know, the grooves, it was the USGA's way of trying to go back to where they used to be. And it's no big deal. I mean, it is what it is. But I got a 56 here, so if anybody got any questions about wedges, I'm going to talk a little bit. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Can you go over what you do?
Yeah.
Everybody has a tight line around the green, 40, 34 yards out, tight line, clean cut fairway. What are your mechanics in a tight line?
Yeah, so tight line, you're talking kind of an awkward yardage, short yardage. You're not talking like 100 yards. You're talking like 30, 40, 50 yards. Yeah, I think the biggest misconception that I see with amateurs is, not conception, just the biggest error I see is when they set up to when a lot of amateurs set up to a wedge. I know a lot of you guys are accomplished players and good players, so you'll really understand what I'm talking about. You know, you got your 60 degree, you got your 58, you got your 56 maybe even, right? And you're hitting it off that tight line. Well, you're opening the club up a little bit, probably. You know, more if you can hit it square, you know, I mean, with the blade square, but it's going to come out a lot lower. If you want it to be a little bit, you know, softer, right? You open up your golf club. The hardest thing to do is to make sure you get ball first, right? And the biggest, like I said, going back, I said the biggest error I see with wedges in amateurs is one, it's kind of twofold. When you open that club up, you're adding a lot of loft. So you don't need to help it in the air. If anything, what you want to do is instead of like a normal tee shot, right, I'm 50-50, you know, 7-iron, I'm probably about right here, 50-50 at address. You put it back, maybe hit it low, you might get a little bit more on your left side, but with that 40-50 yard pitch, you want to stay on your left side. You know, you talk to like, I know I get coined as one of the better wedge players. I think there's like 4 or 5 guys that I look up to, you know, like a Steve Stricker or something like that. All they do is they get on that, almost like it's 60-40 or maybe a little bit more, and they just stay there. Phil's the best at it. I mean, he gets on that left side and just lets his hands release at the bottom while on his left side. That's going to allow the club to get ball first instead of helping that club ball in the air and trying to let it, you know, you're going to get the bounce of the club allows the ball to get up in the air. You're going to get ground first and then ball. So I'll try to give you an example. This is a pretty good lie, so it's not very tight. Basically, if I got that club open and I'm trying to hit that 40-yard pitch, a little bit softer off the tight line, and if I'm on my normal 50-50 stance, I'm going to blade it, and I'm going to bottom it out, and it's going to be kind of clanky, right? So the more I can stay on my left side and address, and you can get, I mean, I don't care if you're 80-20, just the more I'm on my left side, I might get that top of that. Yeah. And I'm just kind of feeling like it's just more arms, those big muscles, and just staying on that left side, I almost feel like I can go left while I'm on my left side. You're going to get ball first, and the ball's going to get up in the air. And at that point, it's just all about speed. It's all about speed, and you know, if you want a little bit of release, I'll get a little bit higher, so be it. But you really just got to use arms and hold the face. But staying on that left side, keep your head straight, your center, rather than moving, is paramount.
Just a quick thing on.
Sure.
Do you love the Beth Page Black as much as we do?
Bethpage Black? It's a gem. Yeah, it really is. Is it technically a municipal or a public? I mean, it's public, but is it a municipal golf course?
State park.
See, that's not normal. I mean, yeah, my folks joined a nice little country club in Iowa, right? So, you know, there's pool and tennis and that kind of thing too, right? And I go play a public course. Our public courses didn't look like this one, you know, nor did it play like this one. It's not just the shot making. I mean, it's a big park. It's a big golf course. It's not just the shot making, but it's also the conditioning. I mean, I'm assuming it's pretty consistent. The greens, you know, like kind of that toe-bent mix. We were talking about today, my coach and I were putting. I mean, oftentimes you see putting get pretty bouncy. You know, I was playing in the afternoon; they were pure. I mean, if you hit it online, you know, you usually got rewarded. I like it. I think it's, you know, it isn't necessarily, if it dries out, which is starting to, there's no rain, I guess it's Sunday night, if I'm not mistaken. So it's very green. But if there's no more rain and it starts to dry out, it's going to become a lot more difficult, but fairways are going to be a lot harder to hit, and that's what I'm looking forward to. I pride myself in the fairways. So.
All right, guys, hold it down out there, please, because just everybody talking at the same time, it's hard to hear. So if you're having a conversation, we're just going to go to the back room. You got another question?
Quick question.
Go ahead.
Zach, regarding your swing, you consider yourself a one-laner, two-laner?
Yeah. That's one of the questions that I was going to ask, and looking at a lot of swings is that when you're hitting your wedge shots or we're seeing your iron shots, they're always laser accurate, and you have that kind of, where you're always maintaining that spine angle back and through. So do you think that whether you're hitting a wedge or you're hitting those low mid irons, that your spine angle should stay the same and keep that hold off swing?
Essentially, I want to stay on plane. It depends on your definition of plane. On plane the entire time. What I've learned, and my coaches around here, when you're talking about swing plane, it's hands, okay? Because your hands are taking the golf club off the golf club. So what's your hand point? And then from there, you dictate where you put the golf club. So, yeah, I mean, if I'm hitting a 7-iron, or excuse me, it's a 60-degree wedge, a 7-iron, a 4-iron, or a driver, it's going to be on plane. The ball position might change, my weight dispersion might change, and my stance might change. You know, I like to put my wedges towards the back of my stance and hit them lower, because lower drags and spin promote control, and that's what you want with wedges: distance control and spin control, that kind of thing. Driver, obviously, you put up here your left foot, left heel. But for the most part, off the ball, my first thought is hands in, club out. So it's like that. So it's almost like the hands go in, but the club can kind of stay out. And then from there, once I get to the box, back of my golf swing, I just try to drop my hands at the golf ball. That's about my own thought. So it's hands up the plane, hands down the plane. Club kind of goes out, and it might look like it reroutes, but it doesn't. It's just up and down. And again, as you alluded to, staying in that posture. So once I get to impact's kind of like this. Through impact, I want to keep that still the same spine posture through the finish, and then eventually stand up. But I mean, I'm right here the whole time, ideally, and then staying there and then up, rather than coming up and out of it at impact.
It's always
Very minimal hand action. Yeah. That's a good point. And that stems a little bit from my grip. I have a pretty strong left hand, and my right hand just kind of falls on. So, with that being said, what it eliminates is a lot of release and opening and releasing of the golf club in this zone, the impact zone, which tends to provide more of an accurate shot. My coach, again, who's here, the way he explains it is like if I'm punching, I kind of punch like this, But if you're going to use more hands and release, most people probably punch a little bit of torque and twist. I just have a lot less of it, if that makes sense. Or, so you take a towel and you snap it, I'm just kind of going like this, Like there's no whip. I have very little whip. All right, with that being said.
So, everybody out there, please continue to hold it down so we can see. So listen, as a swing coach, and a lot of what I talk to everybody about here, and I use this term a lot with my students who are in here, we talk about quality of motion, not quantity of motion. And I don't think that there's anybody who's better to look at their swing than Zach when we talk about that quality of motion. And we talk about maintaining positions in the backswing and through the follow-through. So it doesn't matter, you're going to generate more club head speed, hit the ball square, and hit it more consistent when you're working a range of motion that you have. So Zach, probably the best thing I can ask you to do is if you could face everybody, and if you could see where he is at the top of his swing and to where you are when you finish your swing, is probably the biggest lesson that I try and teach. So when Zach comes to the top, I'm just going to move this ball here so the light comes on. Right? And it's automatic lighting, so as soon as that's the lights. Listen, we pulled out all the stops on this place here. So when he gets there, listen, he's solid here. His spine angle is staying the same, and he's in a quality range of motion. If he comes a little bit further and he starts leaning too far one way or the other, he's not going to have control of what his body's going to do on the downswing. So that's probably the best example of this swing that you could see, where he's there and then where he goes and finishes his swing. And is your finish, like you kind of have that hold off? You consider your swing done when you're there?
When I'm looking at it on tape with my coach, what we like to see is, we like to see a little bit of distance. I like to see a little bit of gap between my right arm and my left arm at impact. And from there, there's the rotation of the club just pivots into my belt buckle. So it's basically, here's impact, right? And then from there it comes up and we just kind of rotate together. And it's going to be toe up when it gets to, well, about right here, if you're looking at it from the back, when it gets to my shoulder, my left shoulder, that toe is released. And it's a late release. That's exactly what it is. Minimal club face rotation. And it goes with my pivot. I mean, the best, what kind of shot do I hit? I hit a pivot draw. That's what I did. My body pivots. Excuse me. My arms, my club pivot around my body, and I hit a pivot draw.
So when we talk about, or when I talk to a lot of the clients out here, and a lot of our golf pros who are here from all our local clubs that work with you, we talk about hitting your wedge shots like that. And that's where a lot of that instruction comes in, is you're hitting your wedge shot where everything's connected and you're holding that through like this. And what I'm trying to say, and what you're seeing with Zach, is that those mid-iron shots are going to be just as accurate as your wedges if you're using the same technique. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, I think one of the biggest misconceptions, when it comes to a strong grip, is everybody's like, oh, a strong grip, they're going to hit a lot of hooks, right? Well, yeah, there may be some truth. It may be easier to throw to some degree, but at the same time, what I think a stronger grip does is I'm not trying to go off track here, what it does is it really gives you the ability to control the face a lot better. You can hit, Vijay Singh is a very strong left hand, and all he hits is fades. So what you're doing is you're just eliminating a lot of release of the club through impact. You'll square it up, and it will release, but if you don't, the timing issue is just a lot easier. So because of my strong grip, I feel like when I get to the top, all I do is drop my hands to the ball. I get lean on the shaft at impact, which is compression, right? That's where the distance comes from. And from there, it's just a hold release. That's the best way I can explain it. But some of the best players out there, all they do is they take a strong grip, they line up left, and just hold that face through impact, and it still counts. I mean, I got a 56-degree wedge here. I'll try to hit a couple draws, and I'll hit a couple fades, even with the same. About 100 yards. One more draw. So, a couple of draws there. Now, I'm going to set up left. I'm going to try to hit a little lower fade wedge.
Kind of looks like my wedge game. And then I wake up.
But it's the same play. I mean, all I'm doing is setting up left with one and holding the face more so than I am when I set up right at it. The draw.
So the arms are staying quiet. I mean, the hands are staying quiet. And basically, this is just all turning in one piece together.
My head stays right there. I like to put the ball a bit back, like I said. You know, it's like the wedges are here. You know, 8 iron, 7 iron. Everything just tends to go up to get to your driver. So wedges are back. When the ball goes back, your stance, because of the plane, the arc of the golf swing, ideally you open your feet. So normal stance would be right here with the driver. Square stance. The ball's up. 7 irons about right there. Wedges, feet open up a little bit. Shoulders stay in the same spot. The ball's just further back, limiting more down on it. It's going to start a little right. And like you said, I'm just going to hold the face through it.
So the swing's staying the same. The only thing that's changing is the amount of turn that you're putting through it.
That's exactly right. Yep. I try to eliminate a lot of wrist at the top. You know, I want to maintain that angle. That's width.
Yeah.
You know, the biggest thing you see, everybody gets a little lean at the top. They're trying to go further and further and further. Some guys can. Some guys can't. But really, all the further you got to go is just left arm, touch that right arm, and that's all the further I can really go. From there, I'm compensating. You know, with the hands.
That's going to mess with your timing and accuracy of the shot, right?
I got no chance.
Is there any point in any other club higher up, Three Woods driver, where this technique is changing? Or it's just ball position?
For me?
Yeah.
No, it's the same. It's just ball position. I kind of feel like with the driver, because of the construction of a driver now and the golf ball, it seems like you want to hit, at one time, you know, with a lot of balls, even the old ones, there was more of a descending blow. And you guys probably have track vans or some sort of scope, right? And you look at the way the ball launches off the driver. Well, it's launching at like, what, anywhere from 11 to 14, 14 and a half if you're hitting really high. And what that does is it provides a high launch, low spin, long tee shot. So as a result, you know, back in the day with Pilates, the persimmons and everything, the persimmons were 7 degrees loft, maybe 8 degrees. There's more of a descending blow because the ball spun so much. So you had to almost hit down on it with less loft because it would spin. Now you don't. So if anything, you know, like I said, I like to stay right here with my wedges. With my driver, I'm just making sure I'm staying behind it. You know, the more behind it I am, I'm not trying to hit up on it 3 degrees or 4 degrees, but I want it pretty level. You know, I just don't want to be hitting down on it too much, which then promotes more spin. But it's something we've actually been doing a lot lately, and I think we figured it out finally. But my stubbornness has gotten in the way. Yeah, I'm changing driver shafts. seeing somebody about that too. It's been really good, so I've learned a lot as we go.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, where in the backswing do you hinge your wrists?
Where the backswing, I think that's a good question. So if this is address, with every golf, you got with every golf club, I kind of want above the club the point of my pillar. Okay, so that's address position, right? When I take the club back, when I get to about this is what we call it like P2, when the club's parallel to the ground. That's about all the wrist hinge I need. It might go a little bit more right here, but it's about 90 degrees right here. Okay, almost when the club's parallel, but not quite. And then right there, I try to maintain that. At impact, you straighten it out, you get in this position, right? This is address, impacts like that. The candle raises up, you open your hips, off your right side, but the head position doesn't move, nor does the spine. So that's impact. On the backswing, a little bit of hinge, and just go.
Like parallel.
Like Steve Stricker, right? A couple other guys, Davis Love, especially with his full shots. It doesn't even look like they hinge. I mean, it almost looks like they're hitting. It's like this,
Right.
And if anything, what that does is eliminates a lot. It's great for your timing. So you're using just big muscles. You're eliminating the hands, and it still works. I mean, I used to practice pitching just with the golf club with one hand. That was enough, but so there's no wrist hinge, and I'm just chipping it, and it stays on my forearm. It's a good practice drill. I mean, what it does is it eliminates the hands. It keeps you centered because the moment you start moving around, you got no chance. It just keeps you there. So, kind of no hands, arms, you just pitch it.
So what you say, 50 yards in, you're not hinging?
If I want a lower traffic shot, like, say it's a 50-yard shot, but I want to land at 25, 30, and I want it to roll 25, 20, 25, then yeah, I'm going to hinge a little bit. My hands are going to be, it's going to be kind of that, that lower, kind of back of the foot, lower shot, right? Now, if I want it a little bit higher, yeah, I'm going to use my arms. That's the thing. I don't need to help it in the air with my wrist at impact. So right here, I mean, just arms. I mean, I can hit this plenty high. I can open the club face up and hit it even higher. But straight blade, that's plenty high. That's driving it's hard to tell here. But my point is, there's enough bounce and there's enough loft on these wedges. You don't need to help it in the air. You can open your club face up, and the moment you open up, you might need to open up your stance, more to the left. But yeah, so. Straight arm, straight blade, plenty high. If I want to go even higher, I'll open up my stance. I'll open up the club a little bit. Same exact swing. It'll launch you even higher.
That's another question. When I open up my face, I can push it right. Any tips on how to avoid that?
Absolutely. My guess is, like if this is a straight blade wedge shot or data or whatever you want to call it, it's just a straight blade shot. Pretty straight, right? Just like that, pretty straight. Well, the moment I open that club face up, the club face goes from straight to open. Now the club face is landed to the right. If I don't move my feet or my shoulders left, it's going to go right. Look, it launched further right. It's going to keep going right. Does that make sense? So, as a result, I've got to open my feet up and line my blades up, my grooves, at the target.
So you open your stance.
You open your stance.
All right, now this is a preloaded question from the Golf Academy here. We got to ask this question. So, what Zach just talked about was part of it was turning left, getting left. Otherwise, your ball's going to go right. So, I know that you worked some with my friend Dr. Greg Rose at TPI. What's the fitness regimen? What are you doing off season? What are you doing during the season to get ready to play?
That's a great question. I mean, clearly, I do a lot. That's terrible. I mean, I'm 40 years old now, and I'm a son of a chiropractor. Greg Rose is a chiropractor. The guy that I employ, I have now for 2016, so probably 6 years. Who oversees my entire body and wellness, I guess you'd say. diet, fitness, everything. Does my assessments, does my workouts, does my supplements, everything. Is a chiropractor by trade as well. Who knows? Through Greg, I was actually introduced to Dr. Troy, his name. And so the way I see it is I've got technically you got 4 pieces to my game of golf. If you really want to break it down, you got the technical, which is kind of what we were just talking about, right? Technique, how to hit shots, wedges, putter, whatever, technique. The technical, fundamental side of the game. You've got the mental side of the game, which God knows I can do better at. You got the emotional side of the game, which is always in check. I mean, for me, spiritual, you got to make sure there's a balance there. It's, some sort of synergy. And then the fourth is what we're just talking about is the physical side, the training side of it. So they're all very important. They all got their role, and when one's off, it affects the others, or vice versa. The physical side of the game, my training, I mean, it's one of those where I've got to be in the gym every day doing something. I mean, if I'm at home and I'm just going to practice for 3 or 4 hours, I'm going to the gym for 45 minutes minimum, upwards of an hour and a half. It may be a full workout. It may be just getting warmed up, doing some movement, doing some band work, and then going to practice. But for the most part, I like to get about an hour to hour and a half in. When I get done, I do a cool down, and I also get back in the gym and stay warm and stretch. So there's always something going on. On my own weeks, it's even I'm on a table, I'm getting checked out, muscle balance, making sure everything's kind of in its right place. I'm telling you all this, guys. I'm just telling you this is layman's terms. I don't know all the technical stuff. But what I do know is that it allows me to go play golf, what I like to do, love to do for a living, and injury prevention and longevity are my 2 main goals. And the more I get my butt in the gym, the better those goals will be, accomplished down the road. So we do everything: weight training, cardio, core work, obviously. Some plyometrics are here and there. I like to get out there and sweat. I mean, I grew up playing every sport, so it's not that uncommon for me. I can't really. I'm one of those that if I'm sitting there on the couch all day, I just get paranoid. I got to do something. So, I'll get my boys out and we'll just go run. I don't care what we do. Just get out there and do something. And that's helped my golf game tremendously. I mean, just being active and staying active.
All right. I got one more question for you, and then we're going to go over, and it's going to be pictures and autographs with Zach. When we do that, I ask that you kind of just move fast so everybody can get in there. So the last thing that I wanted to ask you, which is really relevant to Club Champion being in here, and we talk about proper equipment fitting. And I see people come in here, and I'm looking at their clubs when they come in just as a part of their assessment, and they're hitting their grandfather's clubs, and they think this is all right. So getting the right equipment is key. The thing that I want you to realize is something that he said before, and it's probably only something you still talk about with your sports psychologist, is you just changed driver shafts. So you're talking about one of the best players in the world, and he's still tweaking and working on his equipment. So maybe you could talk about what came to the decision to switch that shaft and what's going on with it.
As Pat here said, I was with Titleist forever, and I was playing a Titleist head that was pretty, stable, but it spun a lot more than the new heads do now, especially the PXG heads. I got significantly more ball speed off the PXG head, but with that, I was trying to put my driver shaft that I've been playing since 2007 into this head, and it's just we were trying everything. I tried. Matt, how many heads did I try? Too many. Yeah, it's even more than he's probably even aware of. So I'm trying to get a driver shaft that is technically built for a driver head that spins a little bit. It's a low spinning driver shaft into a low spinning driver head. Not a good mix. And basically putting a round peg in a square hole, or excuse me, the other way around. Just not good. And what we've done through just a lot of time, through launch monitoring, through just customization, trying to find out the right shaft and the right shot shape and all that, we found actually 2 or 3 shafts that would work, and it's just at this point now it's really just trying to narrow it in and finding out which one's more accurate, which one I like to swing at better. And I don't know if we have it, but I've not had feelings with this driver in a long time. It goes further than I've ever hit it, and it goes easily as straight, if not straighter. So what are we? What's today? Tuesday. We're 6 days into it. Yeah, 6 days in, and it was pretty immediate. Matt came to my hometown last week, and we did a lot of great work. And it's you know, obviously it's imperative for me. It's my job, but for you guys, I'm telling you, it might mean 5 more yards. That may not seem like a lot. That's 5 more yards. Okay, that could be one less glove. 1, 2. It could be 5 more yards from the left, and 5 more yards from the right. That's significant. And a guy that draws the ball, you'd be surprised. My misses are to the right, and as of late, I've been trying to just fight that, and now it's coming back. I mean, I know I draw the ball, but I still want to miss it right. I'd rather push it and hit a solid push than get that flip, because there's no control when I look. And now I'm not doing that, so excited.
So guys, if you look at that back wall right back there, there's all kinds of different colored shafts and stuff. The cool thing is, I'm not going to come to your house like I did Zach's, but these guys, they know what they're doing, and they can fit you for any of those colors. I mean, there's so many different shafts that fit you. So you can go price points, you can go flexes, you can go high, low, spin, no spin, and this is what Zach's learned. Now it took us 6-7 months to say, hey dude, your shaft is not going to work for you. But we finally got to that point, and now he's seeing some fruits of his labors, which is great. So the cool thing is, though, the shaft he plays is on this wall. And it's all available. And through the custom fit, which is what these guys do, and they're known for, that's what's important.
Yeah, just past the ladies' flex is the junior flex. That's mine down there. You know, it's purple. And, yeah. Anyway, but that's exactly right. I mean, that's the beautiful thing of what you guys have here at your fingertips. I mean, these guys, where are the club figures? Is it Antonio or something? Is that Anthony? Anthony and Rosen. I mean, they know way more than I do. I guarantee it. And it's beautiful. I mean, they can take the same shaft, they can tip it, they can put more into it, they can give you that flex. I mean, it's ridiculous what they can do in a matter of, an hour, you know? And then you gotta go play. You gotta go to the golf course and go play and see how it works. That's the best test. However, you get the numbers proper, you get some instruction, you get that all kind of combined, it's just gonna make your golf experience that much better.
So, I mean, one of the things I first started talking to you about when we came here tonight was giving you all the pieces of the puzzle and all the components you needed to play better. And this was the last one that we've been missing here for years. And my good players here and my other players who are higher handicaps, your room for improvement is going to be better. Okay? So you got more shots to shave than that 2 or 3 handicap. So Hiroshi and Anthony are here. My suggestion for any of the guys who want to get fit is to make your appointment with them tonight, because Hiroshi's coming back in a week. And it's going to be like kind of getting in to see Dr. Goodwin. You might be waiting for a little while. So make sure you make your appointment to see one of these guys. And more important, they're not here just to sell you clubs. They're here to evaluate your equipment like I evaluate your body. So get your equipment checked to see if there's another way that we can improve your game. All right, we're going to do one more question.
Hey, could you just tell us your pre-shot routine in putting? You know, because you argue with the greatest. Yeah,
sure.
Like, what do you do when you get on the green? What's your routine?
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, I like to keep things as simple as possible. Put it that way. I'm a guy that, you know, the more going on in the old head, the worse it is. So, I will say the last thought I have is speed. You know, when I'm standing behind it, the last thought is just speed. Speed. Great. Grab the left hand. Hold on.
Righty, lefty too.
Yeah. Is that a righty right there?
Yeah. No, lefty.
Lefty? Is all lefties? They are all lefties. I'll just pump the bench. Okay, that's all right. It doesn't matter. So my routine, obviously I've read the putt, right? You know, ideally I'd like to go behind the ball, behind the hole, that kind of thing. Within reason, you know, within time. My thing here is, I need to stand here. Okay. I don't, you know, you see what's it called, aim point? I've done that, I've learned it. It works, it does work. It's a little bit too much for me. For some guys, it's great, it works. So all that does is just gives you a point as to which line your putter start the ball. I just see it. I feel it. You know, I'm a field player, so I stand behind it. I see where I want it to start. I almost see like a white line, right? So then when I go up into my ball, I get to the side of my ball parallel to the line that I want to start. So if the hole's over there, but so it's breaking 7 feet, I don't want my feet at the hole, you know, obviously like that. I want to get parallel to my line. I take one practice stroke, hold the finish, take another one, looking at kind of where I wanted to start, and then I go into my ready here, 1 look, 2 look, and then I hit it. I will say one thing I see even with some of my peers, it's just something I've learned over time, is, you know, a lot of guys, if you take your practice strokes back here, that's fine, you know. Maybe you're back here kind of looking at your line this way and then you get into it, right? That's fine, whatever it is. For me, I like to be parallel to it because I can kind of see and feel the line speed better. That's just, because speed's the most important thing. You can make the same putt, you know, 12 different ways, depending upon the distance. One thing I see is that a lot of people get in here, you know, they're trying to get parallel to their line, but their putter's right here, okay? So they're taking their practice strokes, and then when they go to put their putter behind the ball, they gotta go like this, they gotta move their feet and get the putter up. I like to get it so this is where I'm putting it. I want my blade right here when I'm taking my practice strokes. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then I go in, 1 look, 2 look, and then just hit it. That's kind of how I've always done it.
Any visualizations, cleansing?
Yeah, I mean, you know, behind the ball, there's been, like I said, I'm seeing that. It's almost like a train track going to the hole. You know, there's certain distances where you got to be realistic and say, okay, hey, a 3-foot, 4-foot circle, you know, I mean, you're 50, 60, 70 feet, you're just like, get in a circle where I can 2-putt. But you get inside 15 feet, I'm a guy that plays, specifically because of the greens we play, they're typically fast, they're typically stressed. They typically roll out even more around the hole because it's burnt around the hole, there's so much traction. So I play the utmost break and try to dive in. You know, not every green's like Augusta, I'm not suggesting that, but there's an adage that, you know, the best putters when they're putting, they don't try to make putts. They're focused on the routine, they're focused on the speed, and then if it falls in the hole, they go pick it up. That's the truth. You know, the faster the greens in particular. I mean, Bethpage in particular, that's it, you know, I keep forgetting it's a municipal golf, but it's a public golf course with championship greens, you know, with some undulation, some slope. You know, you don't need to try to make putts. You want to try to get as close as you can. If it falls in, it falls in. You got 4 feet straight up the hill. You're going to be a little bit aggressive. I get that, you know, but there's not many 4-footers straight up the hill. Golf course we play, probably even some of the ones around here. So the more you can focus on speed, especially in preparation and in practice, the better putter you're going to be.
Thank you.
You bet.
All right. Everybody give Zach a big round of applause. Really coming out of the schedule and coming out doing that. Great. And thank all you guys for coming out to celebrate the grand opening here with everybody. So, Zach's going to go over to the picture and autograph area. Like I said, I just asked everybody to move fast so everybody gets a chance to get a picture and autograph from Zach. And just line up over there and we'll see you over there.